Hello everyone. So today we're going to do what we've done in Manchester, but I decided I'm going to film it again so it's much better and cleaner for everyone to see. So I'm going to explain to you now what I've done. So I've just sectioned the mannequin, so obviously middle parting all the way to the back, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to lock the mannequin in position, and I'm going to try and find now the right spots to section. So usually we make sure that they are like nice and straight, then I put the comb on, so that's how I find the apex. So apex is the top section of the head. So obviously I'm not going to cut now, and I'm not going to actually make a section from the apex, but I'm going to lean the comb for like approximately an inch or inch and a half, so where it sits, so that sort of like initiates where I'm going to section from. So I'm having radial section, which is going to go on both sides, like sort of like coming behind the ear, and we could go, let me double check, we could go a little bit lower, so it's more diagonal, so diagonal forward. You take the diagonal forward section, you divide that. So this is going to be, so I'm just doing it on the other side as well. And what I do next, so I want to sort of bring everything back, whatever I have here at the back, that's my panel number one. And then I'm doing it again to the front, so it's like approximately here. Bringing that down. So this is how I section then the front area, which is going to be done as well as a second panel. Just a sec, it's a little bit like I don't have any mirror or anything to sort of help me with my sectioning or all of that. Here we go, I'm just going to put the clip there. Do the same thing on the other side, so radial section, diagonal back, towards the ear. Clip that here as well. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, so this is going to be the last panel that I'm going to work on, whatever you see here in the middle. So what I just divided, I'm actually isolating from the rest. So I'm going to work with the razor now, and I'm going to actually work with open blade. Why? Because that gives me a lot of softness. First of all, we need to discuss as well, we need to know where we're going to put the perimeter in. We're going to put the perimeter in at the end. Why? Because that sort of gives a softer outline or perimeter. So my desired length is going to sit somewhere here. So let's say an inch from the length of where the mannequin's neck actually goes off, or it's cut off. With a blade, it's very important that we always put it like into like a letter T. We put peace sign, so we put like 2 fingers in. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take vertical section from the middle. It's always great to have the narrow, like the thickest sort of teeth that you can have for the comb, so you have enough tension, because comb already provides that right tension for you. So I'm bringing that up, and I'm moving the razor first. So if I'm going to have length here, so I'm going somewhere to the middle. You cut air before hair, so once you decide to go in, you just turn it down. Now continue bringing that all the way down. Adding another one, another section. Usually you're going to see like here, I'm not continuing like all the way because I want to keep some thickness there. But when I turn the head block around, you're gonna see like that it's, I don't know if you can see anything, but it's sort of like this middle part, it's already like started layering when the rest of it is heavy. So I'm just gonna continue doing that. Go maybe a little bit towards the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm taking, as I said, vertical section, taking the previous as my guide, taking just whatever I can hold between my fingers. I always need to make sure I see the guideline. If you don't see the guideline, you can always just grab it like that and you see where you started. And you continue like that. And adding more than... I tend to sort of keep a lot of the times hair in my fingers so I can actually see, because you can imagine, so whatever's on the other side is negative to what you're holding here. If that makes sense. So it goes section number 1, 2 to 1, and now 3 to 2, and then section 4 is just gonna go to 3 as well. It's important that you have nice and clean sectioning when you're doing it. So see, I'm putting everything now so section 3 to section 2. I check the length like that, and that's my desired length, my guideline. So this is a modern shag. I called it like that because it's like, it really works on curly, wavy hair, also on straight hair. If they want to have a bit more movement in, and the more you shake it, or the more you shag it, the better it looks, or it should, at least. See, and that's it. So I have one side down. I still kept a lot of thickness here. Once I start moving and, like bringing that out, you can see that it's a lot of like texture happening there. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat the same process on the other side. So I take guideline, which is section number 1. I take section number 2. So now I'm going from center towards my right hand, or towards her right hand. Again, if I don't see the guideline, I pick that up, I check, that's where I am. It's very visual, so when you're working, but also as well very technical. So some people think like, oh, when you work with a razor, it's really not technical. But as you can see, it can be very technical. In fact, it always has to be, because we need to know what we're doing. We're still putting the shape in, that needs to work. And it doesn't matter, like even if we would straighten this hair, it needs to look perfect. So I have Dana here with me, I'm gonna ask them to maybe blow dry the head block, so we can see the finished result. Now 3 to 2. Again, I'm just taking however much I can hold between my fingers. Again, with razor you're gonna find it like harder to find the guideline because there's no like bluntness, but probably you can see on the camera the thickness of the hair, so the density, when I bring it out like that, usually the density shows up. Here we go, number 3 finished, and I just go number 4, which I bring all to number 3. So here I see the guideline, and I just continue that. With number 4 again, you're going to notice that you don't need to, so usually it's less hair as well, because the hairline starts popping up. I'm going to show you that on the other side. Sometimes as well you can do some channel cutting, so you can go in between, like a key in a lock, you put the blade in and you remove that weight. And I'll show you now on this side as well what I mean by that. So when I said the hairline, it starts popping up, so in that case we know we're getting less hair to work with. So as I said, key to the lock, you go in and you just do a bit of a channel cutting like that. Obviously controlled, not too much. You can always see what you've taken off. As I said before, you hold the hair in your hands. I check as well always then my balance. As you can see, I'm very much on it. So left and right side as well, when you pick them together, you put them to the middle together, they are on the same spot. So a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people think like, oh, if we work with razor, it's never even, it's never balanced. But I'm just trying to showcase that now to everyone, and I'm also trying to teach my guests, you know, that there is a lot of balance if we want it. But it's, I mean, I understand a lot of people, they have really bad experience. If you want to create softness, this is the tool to go to. Obviously you can use as well the other blades. The other razor, which is guarded razor, but I very much prefer this one. Okay, I'm moving now to the front. So if this is my panel number 1, I'm gonna have panel number 2 in the front. So that's gonna be like her fringe, which I'm gonna, let me show you. Yeah, so I'll section now the front part, and I'll show you what I mean by that as well, like what we're going to do here, because we're going to isolate this section a little bit. Excuse Josephine. So I want to make sure I have this zone here, which I don't know how I named it in the diagrams, but I made the diagrams as well, and I'm going to make sure that they pop up as well. And you're going to see this is like a zone that is like very much like green there. I think it's number 5 or number 6. However, we just put that away so we make sure we maintain and keep the length as well, so we don't go too far in and make it like mullety looking. So I do that on both sides, just to work more secure. Just gonna double check where we have there, how low. Okay, so I'm now just isolating the same section just on the other side. And now I'm gonna divide this panel 2 into, so to speak, 3 panels, like it's gonna be the middle one and then 2 here left. And what we're gonna do, so now it depends really, like when you're doing the front bit, you just need to consider now, you know, how wide, so how much we want to open her face. Like some people have really wide faces, so you need to narrow them. Some people have really narrow faces, we want to wide open them a little bit more. So that's something that is, again, like it depends of your consultation, depends of your guest or client desire, or your model desire. And I decided that Josie is gonna have narrower look, because then anyway we're gonna do this like very choppy the front. Okay, so I'll go like to the middle of the eye on both sides. So I always like standing in front of her and see how the hair naturally falls. I make the sections which are going slightly diagonally like that, so from the face, I mean towards the face a little bit. Let me show you. I'm just going to turn her around again. So that's the section I my desired section. So I'm going actually just down to the middle of the eye and here as well. What I do now, I decided that I'm going to go to somewhere here, middle of the, I mean, how do you call that? The nose bridge, no? I think it's the nose bridge. However, so that's my desired length. before I do that, let me just clip that away as well so we have that nice and clean. I'll use 2 different section clips and I'll put this hair back. I usually, when I work on guests, I don't tend to use that many clips and stuff, but for the teaching purposes, I think it's quite important to have it very clean. So you can also now work with scissors if you feel more comfortable and confident. And what are we going to do? We're going to take a tiny, slim little section. I'm not going to elevate that at all. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start twisting it around, just because I want to have that sort of choppy look. And I'll start with a slice cutting just here. Like, I know the hair is going to pop up a little bit later on when it's going to dry, so that's why I'm not going shorter than this. So again, if I turn her around, we're just like on a nose bridge. That's it. Now, I'll change my equipment. I go back to the razor. I'll take my guideline, which I can now clearly see. So that's my guide, and I'll start. So you cut hair before hair. Now it depends, see, like you can make it like a curtain fringe. So I'm not like elevating too much, but just like slightly. It's always important to groom all the hair all the way from the roots. If you're not grooming hair from the roots, you're always gonna find some mistakes there. And this is now razor rotation, or actually my finger rotation, but why? So as you can see, like here, I'm gonna work with a so I'm working here, so on her right hand side, I'm working with the heel of my blade. When I go on the other side, I work with the tip of my blade, and I almost like I'm opening. It's almost like like kind of opening as well. So you turn the fingers out. So here I turn my knuckles out. Here I turn my fingertips out. See, it should sort of check, like I'm lighter on her right hand side now, and so I need to go a little bit lighter on her left hand side as well. And this is where I can just do a bit of channeling. You know, sometimes as well, like vertical, you bring it to the other side, you go and channel in between, you keep like that, you keep the length, but you're making it much more airy. So that is like easy to blow dry. Easy to create a lot of volume. Also, it's going to look softer and nicer for a longer time. So that's how you can as well like then justify the pricing as well of your cut. Just a little bit of channeling. I feel like I'm a little bit still heavy here, so I'll just go back to the line. Okay. Now I'll release what I isolated. And here we can do just connection now as well. So you can either now go from the fringe and connect that, or you can either decide and go, okay, you know what, I want to have this from the lip area. So then if I want that, I just go from the lip area. Again, I move with semi-strokes length. And that's what I'm trying to say. See, like you can always see. So it's like you would point cut it with scissors. You know, so the smaller the strokes, the heavier it's going to be. The longer the strokes, you know, and I'm just moving the finger now, so I have just this movement. Imagine if I start moving that in my wrist, I have really long strokes, so I can make it super airy. Again, don't forget what was your accent. So like I've used now my lips, her lips. So I'm going then, again, from her lips. You always check as well. A bit heavier again on this side, because I'm trying to not cover the camera. And also now, if I feel like this is too heavy, I'm just gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna turn her towards myself now. It's easier, just to make it easier for myself as well. So, I can just now go like a key inner lock, and I channel through. And this is what makes, you know, a good cut to great cut. Like this is a difference from good to great. It's always very nice to have good, but when you make it great, it's a bit different. It's better, it's greater. Obviously, be mindful that you don't take too much off. Again, it's something that we need to discuss. Here we go. I need to visually check a little bit as well how the hair reacts. I see I have a little bit of weight on this side. Not too much, not too bad. But yeah, it's fully, as I said before, visual. So see, now I'm going to release that, and that's the thing, like that's what I was saying before. I'm keeping the length. This is how I make sure I don't take this length away, so I don't make the haircut look looking mullety, because obviously we're doing modern shag, we're not making mullet. I feel like here I have a bit of a... Okay, that's better. Now, last and least is the top section. So this is the panel number 4. So if we had panel number 1, panel number 2, then 3 we were working on now. Now we're going to 4, and then the 5th is actually the perimeter. So what we're going to do here is basically what we have for Travis Sorby long layers technique in a way. But we won't like connect it to this. So if I bring this up and I bring the front up, you're going to see like we have sort of like, almost like, oh, it's telling us we should cut it here. But we're going to leave that longer. Why? Because we have, so obviously we have so much less hair in this area because of the ear. And if you think about the hairline on this side, it's much lower than obviously on the sides when we come to the side. That's why I'm keeping it longer there. And it's all about understanding. So, you know, like even when I was speaking to the guys there in Manchester, I said to them, we teach 3 different, and I'm going to give you like a couple of seconds so you can actually think about it. What is actually a haircut? There was a couple of interesting answers there, but I sort of concluded and just said like how I see the haircut and what is the haircut for me personally. And also when I teach whenever and whoever I teach, I always ask this same question. Yeah, if you're sort of trying to guess now and stuff, I'll just let you know, like, so the haircut is actually just the distribution of weight. So now that's what we're doing. We're reducing the weight on a crown area, so when we're going to blow dry, that's going to be like a platform. This is going to pop up. So even if we leave then the top a little bit, because of the apex, obviously the hair is going to fall, this hair from here is going to fall back. and this platform, as I named it, or this panel here that is shorter, is just going to help us to lift everything that is actually then popping over a little bit longer. It's very interesting shape though. Like I do it a lot these days when people are asking me to reduce the weight, and that when they're actually moaning about not being able to get enough body when they blow dry or bounce. Okay, so now I'm just going to use here 3 sections, 1, 2 and 3. I'll just bring everything up, I'll see, because she's not so dense as usually natural hair is. And here you can use scissors. I could work as well with my razor, but see, like what I'm trying to tell you. So look at the length here. We're going to leave that at least an inch longer, so we're going to go somewhere here. So that's completely disconnected. So that's why this modern shag, or however I call it, or shag, that I am doing a lot, it's going to be disconnected, but it will fall in place beautifully. So because I'm not now, because I decided I'm going to work with scissors. See, again, like it's very important to groom the hair up properly. Because I decided I'm going to work with scissors, I'm going to go back in then with blade and just do some channeling. And now, because we have this narrow triangular section here, I'm just going to bring everything up, because I believe I'm going to still be able to see my guideline. It's more about grooming, combing the hair than anything else. See, and I see my guideline, I take that off. I bring everything to the middle, to the parting that we created at the beginning. I do a bit of a point cutting, maybe like for an inch. Bring that down. I still try to sort of isolate it from the back, because I want to see what is it doing. Here for my guideline. So I'm taking what I've just done, again the top section, just for the guideline. And I take a little bit less on the other side, just so I can sort of see the guideline as well. And I'm gonna have to actually turn her back again, because as we are learning, we need to, I mean, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna stand here. You won't now see the sectioning, but it's actually what you've seen on the other side, you just repeat. So what you see the first side, what you've seen on the first one, I'm just repeating on the other side, if that is clear enough. So that's my guideline. Take that off. Make sure, again, you have everything hair groomed out from the scalp. Sometimes I say, like, from all the way from the follicle, like, that's the base, that's where you need to have your focus. Okay, I'm adding more, bringing everything to the center parting. Checking the guideline again. As I close my scissors, I turn them back, so I'm not pushing the hair like that. I haven't done any point cutting, so I just do it now. Sometimes you can just open the hair like that, so they're not too much together, especially when they're wet. Because see, like when you bring them up like that, they're quite close, aren't they? But if you just do this, you go then in between. Or you can even like slice in between. Anyway, now I'm just bringing everything up again, how I did it on the other side, all the way now from the ear. So we won't see much hair now coming off. as usually when we do Trevisobi, classic long layers. See, so we just have like tiny bit that we just join to the rest. That's it. Now, there's not much to do. A bit of a channeling, perimeter. Sometimes people like to leave it like soft, like it is now. Perimeter was already in, bear that in mind. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just gonna leave it like that as well. That's a completely your choice then. That's something like, I always say, you know, again, it depends on what you want to achieve. Like if you're doing a model, like Josephine is my model today, you know, and I can see now, look, if I do that, and also if I bring all of that back, because now I'm going to work visually, so this is now all about channeling through, creating space in the hair, so it behaves more how we like it. And that's visual. It is also technical, but it's visual, like predominantly it's a visual thing to do. So what you can do, you can bring hair, I'm just gonna place her now a little bit differently. Place the head like that. I'll take the section which is diagonal back, and I'm gonna concentrate more on the top. I'm gonna stepping like on the other side. And I'll just go now with channeling. So I put this like a key in a lock, and I'm just like, it's by feeling, like you're gonna feel that. And also you can always then see what you've taken off. See, I went here a bit higher up, closer, and here a bit lower. So that's the top, that's more like underneath here. So this is where I want to have a bit more like, so it pops up a little bit. And we can already see the result, like this is gonna start popping up. Because shorter hair is doing what? It's supporting the longer hair. And then I can just decide and go like a little bit more. So it's almost like a balayage, you know? Which again, you know, balayage, what does it mean? It's painting. So this is as well, it's like instead of having a brush in your hand, you have razor, and you are channeling and spacing hair as you go, and as you desire, as you see it as well. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Bear in mind, like now we see like the hair is getting a little bit dry, so I stop. I don't want to work on dry hair with blade, because it will always affect the cuticle. Like imagine shaving on dry hair, dry beard. Have completely dry beard and use your gilet and tell me, how does it feel? See, so again, like I'm just putting these spaces in, controlled. Okay, so because I know like that thing was a little bit more back, I'm going to bring that channeling a little bit here as well, so it won't be too heavy. But see like where I am, like I'm just working here, so this is now still thick, so it's going to be around the brush. It's going to go around the brush, thick. Yeah. Do I need to do anything in the front? Maybe, baby. Let me wet her down again. Nothing goes on dry. No, it's fine. Look, I mean, I'm gonna check the fringe on dry hair, but that's basically the technique. Like you can then make it shorter, longer. Obviously, when you're doing on longer hair, make sure you don't take too much of layering. Like make sure you don't go too short at the back when you start on panel number 1. I'm just gonna now double check everything. Make her nice and clean. You know, everything is like soft. Everything is like very, very airy. So, I'm gonna lift her up now for perimeter. It's almost like I would ask her to stand up. Obviously I'm going to divide it now. Again, the front, so radial section, front isolated from back. Repeat the whole thing on the other side. Just middle down. Okay, so I'll go from the middle, take that away, section that down, and because I want it a little bit choppier, so I'm like opening again, so fingers towards my, like fingertips towards myself, and I'm doing this. A lot of patience, like it's needed here. So that won't be, you know, something that, see, and if you check, look at the line. So we have the line, no? Also if you check it here, but it's like feathered, you know, it's not strong, blunt line. It's nice and feathered. And if I have too much of something, I just go then and I lean it on my fingers. This is a really dangerous technique that I don't recommend to beginners. Once you really master the blade and get the feeling, then you can do that. But don't blame me if you chop your finger off, if you're rushing into stuff. Don't ever rush into stuff. You know, this is like you don't rush into it. See, so and then as well, you can sort of just channel a little bit where you feel like it's a little bit heavier. And this is our perimeter line, you know, and as well, again, when you check, boom. Okay, see, I'm releasing this down now, so we're gonna see I'm gonna have less and less and less and less and less hair, because obviously there's a layered thing there happening. Again, I take from the middle, I make sure that I don't have too much tension now. So I'm going to actually swap the comb, but then still, like for any razor cutting, you still do need, you know, tension, like in your finger. So as you hold the hair, I can see the guideline, I can actually feel it as well, and I just go and repeat the process. Again, see, that's like a liner. I feel like, see here I have a little bit longer, just a tiny spot. So that's something like, you know, you can easily go in with scissors and do the perimeter with scissors if you find that easier, which again I'm guessing you will, because to make the perimeter and to make these lines with a razor, that's something like that I usually would teach on a master class. As I said before, people who are already experienced in razor cutting, like who already understands like strokes, who already know how to work with the open blade, then the next stage is how to utilize this tool to create quite sharp and straight lines as well. Okay, it's looking pretty good, pretty good. Taking that off a little bit. Here we go. Now, let's check what's popping from the top. Probably not much, guys. As I said before, this is layered. So look, we're getting a little bit of like few strands down there, few strands. Nothing too, it's pretty much like from the top. So whatever is like longer, it's so whatever's coming from the, because now remember, this is the radial section, is like a classic section, just the front divided from the back. But I'm combing the hair in a natural fall, so how they would fall from the apex. You know, you can start here at the back and then go like that. So you sort of see the lines pivoting from this point. Everything sort of pivots. Now, we just connect this. It's not a science, it's just hair. Boom. Okay, again, just straight down. And again, because it's layered, see, I'm not gonna now do all of the sectioning because I don't need to, like I've layered it before, so. And I'm putting in like very feathered perimeter. So what's the point now to, you know, like go in and do like tiny little sections? There's no point. Here we go. I'll turn her around as well, so for this side. Again, grooming is the most important thing. Grooming from the roots all the way to the ends. And again we go. I open the fingers, so fingertips towards myself. I'm making sure that this line looks pretty much even. Yeah? Because what I have on the other side is negative what I'm holding in my fingers. You double check or triple check everything, whatever feels heavy. Remember again, go in, use that technique, channeling, like a key in the lock when I said that before. Key in the lock. So it feels a little bit heavier here in these corners when everything joins together. And you check as well the balance, and we pretty much have it. You know, I'm very happy with this. You know, just a little bit here, but that's like I'm talking again millimeters. That's it. Let's put her down, take her off, shake her off. Josephine, shaken properly. What you're gonna notice now, we have this disconnection. So the disconnection is what we were doing. So that's the thing, you see hair at the back, the shorter, this is longer for like 2 to 3 inches. But then when you put that, when you shake it, when you put that in a natural state, like how the hair would fall, so you just get like really cute layers. You know, it's like, that's her, that's Josie. So I can just like now scrunch that. You can use the mousse or something, dry it naturally. You can blow dry it. I'm gonna ask Dana, who's today here, to check the camera and everything so nothing goes out. So I don't need to do it like 500 times. So that's it, that's finished look. I'll turn her around as well for you. So you can see the end result. So that's it. That's a modern shag. That is like a lot of air, a lot of space. I hope you like it. That's it. We're gonna blow dry it, bring Josephine back. Okay guys, so that's a shorter version. As I said to you, you can do like, I wanted to show you how you can make like perimeter with a razor as well. And I wanted to show you like how it can actually be as well, like pretty straight, pretty like even. Even with shaking it off, it sits nicely back. We can see the structure. You can see all of that. However, I have here another mannequin. So this one is been done in Manchester, and it's like longer version, because for this one we decided to keep her hair longer. And you can see as well like the same technique. I'm going to turn her later around as well so you can actually see that. But yeah, the same technique here. I've just like left even the front longer, so it gives her more like flattering, sort of like that sort of. I'll turn her around now. Let me just put that. This is it. So this connection, you can see clearly the back is shorter, the front is longer. Like it's quite a big difference. And then you can see how they nicely folds together. When you flick that over, like you see, you can even see it here a little bit, but then as it comes to, when the gravity comes in, that's it. Okay guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. So, 2 Josefinas, 2 varieties of shag and shake. Yeah, so again, both same way. We just have like shorter version, longer version, and again when you flick them around, that's it guys. This is it. See you later.